On the barren, rocky world of Dothak, a harsh planet in a distant galaxy, a single ship stumbled through the vast void, its hull battered by a battle between two alien species. The ship was a wreck, clinging to life with every ounce of its being. Inside, a young girl, no more than 11, lay unconscious, her fragile body bruised and bloodied, the result of an alien assault. Her name was Lila. The aliens who had attacked her ship, the Thraxians, were cold-hearted, cruel, and ruthless. Their gray-skinned, insectoid forms towered over her like titans. They were known for their insatiable hunger for power, as well as their ability to manipulate the forces of nature. The Thraxians' desire to control all living things was only rivaled by their obsession with ancient technologies, particularly the dark magic that had once been harnessed by the dragon lords of a long-forgotten civilization. It was this technology that they sought to revive. Lila had no idea how she had ended up on Dothak, or why the Thraxians had attacked her. She had been traveling with her parents, on a diplomatic mission to negotiate with the Zinthari, a species of peaceful scholars who had discovered an ancient alien artifact. Her memories were fractured, but she remembered the bright flash of light and the screams that had echoed in the ship before it fell out of hyperspace and crash-landed on the alien planet. When Lila finally regained consciousness, she was alone. Her parents were nowhere to be seen, and the remnants of her ship were scattered across the jagged landscape. She was too weak to move, her wounds too severe to even think about standing up. Her mind swirled in a haze of pain and confusion. But then she heard them, the Thraxians. "You see, the human child is weak," one of them hissed. "She is unworthy of our attention. But the prophecy says the sacrifice must be pure," another one countered. "Perhaps this weakling is all we need." Lila's heart raced. The Thraxians had captured her, taken her as a prisoner, but now she understood. They were planning something far worse than simply using her for their experiments. They were going to offer her as a sacrifice. A sacrifice to the dragon. The dragon, a creature so ancient and terrifying, it was thought to have been a myth, a legend told only in whispers. But the Thraxians had discovered its lair on Dothak, buried deep beneath the surface, an ancient being from the time before time, a creature whose power was said to be beyond comprehension. The Thraxians believed that if they offered a sacrifice to the dragon, it would awaken the creature and allow them to control its power to dominate the galaxy. Lila had no choice but to listen as the Thraxians dragged her through the craggy landscape. She tried to fight, tried to scream, but her body was too broken. She felt like a rag doll in their hands, tossed around without care. After what felt like hours, they arrived at a massive stone structure, half buried in the ground, its jagged spires reaching toward the sky like the claws of some great beast. The air around the structure crackled with an energy Lila couldn't comprehend, an ancient power, dark and ominous. The Thraxians, their voices whispering in their strange tongue, began to chant in unison. Lila felt herself being lifted, her body weightless as they carried her toward the dark mouth of the dragon's lair. Her mind raced with panic. What would happen to her? Would the dragon devour her? Or would it simply ignore her, leaving her to die alone in the dark? And then, as they reached the entrance, something unexpected happened. A sudden, low growl echoed through the stone walls, vibrating the ground beneath her. The Thraxians froze, their chant dying in their throats. From the depths of the lair, a pair of glowing red eyes emerged, peering from the darkness. The dragon. Lila's heart skipped a beat. The creature was real, and it was staring right at her. But what she saw next was even more shocking. Instead of the terrifying beast she had imagined, a massive, fire-breathing, clawed monster. There was a figure cloaked in shadow, stepping forward from the darkness. It was humanoid in shape, tall and imposing, but its skin shimmered with a metallic sheen, like molten silver. It had the face of a man, but the eyes, those eyes were not human. They were golden, glowing with an otherworldly intelligence, and they locked onto Lila with an intensity that sent chills down her spine. The Thraxians gasped in unison. "The dragon is not dead," one of them whispered in disbelief. The figure stepped closer to Lila, its voice soft and melodic, yet imbued with the weight of centuries. "You are not the sacrifice," it said, its voice reverberating in her mind. The sacrifice was never meant for the beast. It was meant for the one who controls it. Lila could barely comprehend what was happening. Was this the dragon? Or was it something else? Whatever it was not what the Thraxians had expected. It seemed to possess a kind of wisdom, an understanding of things far beyond the Thraxians' grasp. "Let her go," the figure commanded, its golden eyes burning with authority. The Thraxians hesitated. For the first time, they were unsure. They had been so certain of their plan, so convinced that the dragon's power was theirs to command. But now, they were faced with something they didn't understand. Reluctantly, they released Lila, dropping her to the ground at the feet of the strange figure. The moment she hit the earth, she felt a surge of energy, raw, untamed, and impossibly ancient, flow through her. She gasped, her body shaking as she tried to process the sensation. "Who are you?" Lila whispered, her voice barely audible. The figure smiled, though it was not a smile of kindness. It was a smile that held centuries of knowledge, of power. "I'm the last of the Dragon Lords," it said. "I am the keeper of the dragon's essence, the one who ensures that it remains bound to the earth. I was created to guard this world, to protect it from those who seek to control its power." The Thraxians were now backing away, fear creeping into their voices. "You cannot stop us," one of them snarled. "We will take the power of the dragon, no matter what you say." The figure's eyes glowed brighter, the air around them crackling with energy. "You do not understand. The dragon is not a weapon to be wielded. It is a force of nature, a power that must never be disturbed." With a sudden gesture, the figure raised its hand, and the ground beneath the Thraxians began to tremble. The rocks around them shattered, the earth splitting open. The Thraxians screamed as they were swallowed by the chasm that formed beneath their feet. Lila watched in awe as the figure turned back to her, its golden eyes softening. "The sacrifice was never meant for the dragon," it said, almost tenderly. "It was meant for you. You were chosen, child, to be the vessel, the one who could carry the essence of the dragon, to protect it from those who would abuse its power." Lila stared at the figure, her heart racing. "What do you mean? I'm just a girl. I don't have any power." The figure's smile deepened. "You have the strength within you, Lila. You always have." And in that moment, Lila understood. She had been chosen not to die, but to be transformed, to become something greater than herself, to become the guardian of the dragon's power. The dragon had never been a beast to fear. It had always been a force of balance, a force of life and death, and Lila was the key to its harmony. As the figure lifted her into the air, the world around her seemed to fade away, replaced by a light so bright, so pure, that she felt her very essence being reshaped. The power of the dragon surged within her, filling her with strength and wisdom beyond her years. She wasn't just a child anymore. She was the protector. And as the last of the Thraxians disappeared into the chasm, the last remnants of their cruel empire were wiped away, never to threaten the galaxy again. Lila stood, now a child no longer, but a force of nature in her own right, the keeper of the dragon's power. And the universe would never be the same again.